What's up, guys? If you've wrecked your R6 on the left hand side and you notice that your starter is starting to make a weird noise or doesn't sound the same as it did before you wrecked it, this video is for you. I did a lot of research beforehand and didn't find a lot of anything that related to what was actually wrong with my bike after I wrecked it. So today I'm going to go ahead and show you what your problem likely is and how to make your starter sound like normal after you wreck it on the left hand side. So the issue that we are most likely facing is with the starter clutch idle gear and the starter clutch idle gear shaft, number 7 and 8 on the diagram. So whenever I had to do this the first time, basically me just removing the stator cover and then making sure everything lined up and putting it back was enough for it to sound like normal. As you can see, it still starts and runs fine, but it doesn't sound how an R6 should. And since this is a track bike, I want to make sure that everything is the way it should be. I don't want anything out of place or anything like that. If you're going to be dealing with this side of the bike, you're going to want to make sure that you already have a replacement gasket in stock, because this gasket uses silicone bond on both sides, as well as around this wire right here. So if you take it apart, you won't be able to finish the job unless you have a gasket ready. You're going to notice it's going to start to seep out. That's because oil is also on this side of the engine, but it's not as wet as the clutch side. But just keep that in mind, have a drain pan ready underneath. That starter idle gear had fallen off in the assembly, and glad I didn't keep riding it, but yep, that's what causes that noise right there. So that probably just fell off as I was taking the cover off, because I'm not sure how it would have started without it. But still, I'm glad that we did this, because as you can clearly see, if it was in the correct spot, that wouldn't have happened, and that is why we are having those weird issues whenever we start our motorcycle. So what you want to do is insert your gear down here, make sure it lines up with the starter and the flywheel. Then insert your rod through the center. Boom. Should be ready to go. All we got to do now is clean off our old gasket surface, put our new gasket on, coat the new gasket on both sides with Yama Bond, and we are good to go. To remove this because I didn't take out the stator or anything like that, because I was not replacing the slider, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this out anyways because I'm already here, and I might as well make sure this is sealed up and bonded as good as it can be, since we did interfere with the adhesion right here a little bit. So yep, gonna clean that up, put it back, and it'll be good to go. Alright, since we're going to be nice to our bike, we're not going to let it hang by the wires here. We're going to put it back. It's got a really strong magnet that will hold it in place, And what we're going to do now is we are going to apply silicone gasket to both sides of our new gasket. You want to make sure that you have some before you start this or you won't be able to finish. Recommended stuff is obviously Yama Bond, but all I have is Honda Bond because that's what the Yamaha dealership had, and that works just as well. You're going to want to make sure you get the high temp Honda Bond. I'm not sure if the high temp is like required, but I got it just to be safe because it's directly on the side of the engine, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. We're going to apply this gasket maker to both sides of the gasket. Okay, put your gasket in place against the engine. Make sure your stuff didn't move. Make sure your ignition wire stays put. And slowly lower this into place. And that should be on and good to go. Cool. So what I want to do now is put in a couple bolts just to make sure that I didn't completely mess with the gasket before it dries. And after that, we will torque it down to spec. Okay, the service manual says 8.9 foot-pounds. So before I do that, I just forgot to mention it is very important to use blue Loctite on this. This is something you definitely do not want backing out on you on the track, because this does, even though it's a very small amount, it does hold back oil. So we want to make sure that we're as safe as possible. Some threadlocker. This part is really important. After we've got everything torqued down to spec, what we're going to do is start the motorcycle and make sure that it doesn't leak anywhere around this new gasket that we put down, because you don't want it streaking oil down the side of your motorcycle whenever you're on the track. started.